Recording.
Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We'll begin with our prayers. Pamagyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Nuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagrajata Savana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savitam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shra He Krishna Karuna Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्णा
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 3, Chapter 23, Devavuti's Lamentation. So far we have discussed Devahuti was married to Kardamuni and Swayambhu Manu left. And Devahuti, she served her husband, a very powerful husband, in a very, very wonderful way. And that's how a disciple should serve the spiritual master. And after serving for a long time without any expectations, visrijya kamam dambham cha dvesham lobham akham madham pramadyutyata nityam tejiyasam atoshayat. That's how she served her very, very tejiyasam, very powerful husband. And after a long time, when Kardamuni, he opened his eyes, he saw how Devavati was serving him very nicely. He told that today, although you have not seen our opulence, but today I'll award everything to you. I'll give you the vision by which you can see the opulence which we have, and you can also, and I'll also give you all those opulences. And then Devahuti, she was very satisfied hearing this, but she makes a request that you had promised my father that you will give me a child. So can you please fulfill that desire? And then he said, yes, of course, you can do it now. But she said, no, but I am not in a right shape and I am very thin and my clothes are not so proper. So can we do something about it? So then he created aerial mansion. And before that, he told Devahuti. And after that, after creating the aerial mansion, he created this 1,000 Gandhava girls and Devahuti, she entered that Bindu Sarovar and immediately she regained her beauty and she came out at the same place where she was with her husband. So we discussed till verse number 43, 42. Okay. So then Kardamuni and Devahuti, they started enjoying traveling to all the various places, scenic spots in the universe. And 42nd verse was very, very wonderful. Kim durapadanam tesham pumsam uddam chetasam yairashritas tirthapada charano vyasanatyayaha. What is difficult to achieve for a determined man? Yairashritai tirthapada, who have taken shelter of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. Charano vyasanatyayaha. That lotus feet puts an end to all the dangers of material life. Continue from 43rd. प्रेक्षयित्वा भुवो गोलम् पत्न्यै यावान् स्वसंस्थया
पत्न्यायां संस्थया
महायोगी
ब्रह्माशयं महायोगी
न्यवर्तत.
यस्य माया न वर्तते.
After showing his wife the globe of the universe and its different arrangements, full of many wonders, the great yogi Karda Muni returned to his own hermitage.
प्रेक्षयित्वा, after showing Bhuvo Golam, the globe of the universe, Bhuvo Golam, along with his wife Samsthaya, he came back with its arrangements. He showed the earth wonderful with all the arrangements, and then Samsthaya, he returned home. Ashrama, he returned to his own ashrama. And then 44 to 48, actually Prabhupada writes in the purport, Bhuva Gola. Every planet is round, each planet is a different shelter, just like islands in a great ocean. They are called as, planets are sometimes called as Dvipa or Varsha. We'll hear more about this in the fifth canto, about the Bhumandal and all the Varshas in this Bhumandal. This earth planet is called Bharat Varsha because it was ruled by King Bharata. So in Jambudvipa there are 9 Varshas, and one of that is Bharat Varsha. And among that, in that Bharat Varsha, this Prithvi is called as Bharat Khanda. So this Bharat Varsha was named by the king Bharata. So Yudhishthir Maharaj was not just ruling this earth, he was ruling the entire Bhumandal. It was described in the first canto. Jambu Dvipadhipatyam cha yashascha tridivangataha. The fame of Yudhishthir Maharaj spread all over the 3 universe, 3 planets, and Jambu Dvipa Adhipati. He was the controller of all the Jambu Dvipa. And the word Bahu Ashcharyam is significant. इसके लिए थोड़ा 5th कैंटो तक वेट करना पड़ेगा. उसके लिए डायग्राम्स और वो फोटोज पिक्चर से ही पता चलेगा. अभी भूमंडल और एक भूखंड और भारतवर्ष क्या है वो सब बोलने से पता नहीं चलेगा. So basically earth is divided into two. This entire universe is divided into 2 halves, and the middle portion is the bhumandal. It is like a disc. In that disc there are 7 islands and 7 oceans, and in that the middle innermost is Jambudvipa. In that Jambudvipa there are 9 parts or varshas, and the lowermost is called as Bharatvarsha. Middle one is called as Ilavrat Varsha. In the middle of that Ilavrat Varsha is a Sumeru mountain. So all these planets, all these portions are separated by mountains. So between Bharat Varsha and Kim Purusha Varsha, Kim Purusha Varsha is a place where Hanumanji stays now also. Swayambhuman also stays in one of the Varshas still. Lord Shiva and Parvati, they stay in Ilavrat Varsha sometimes. So, and the mountain separating Kumpurusha Varsha and Bharat Varsha is called as Himalaya, the greater Himalaya, not our Himalaya. ये वाला हिमालय नहीं है, वो दूसरा वाला हिमालय है जहाँ पे व्यासदेव रहते हैं. व्यासदेव यहाँ पे नहीं रहते हैं. जो बद्री अनाथ बोलते हैं, here Vyasdev doesn't stay. It is a creation so that living entities of Bharat Khanda can take advantage of this. It is a replica of original Himalaya. Okay, so that's why Madhvacharya, he jumped from this Himalaya to that Himalaya, and he met Vyasdev and he came back. Outside it is. Bhahuashcharyam, many wonderful things. This indicates that the different planets are distributed all over the universe in 8 directions, and each and every one is wonderful. Each planet has its particular climatic influences and completely equipped with everything. Okay, so that's what Prabhupada writes. Kardamuni, by his yogic powers, he could see everything. He could go everywhere. The ordinary people, by their machines, they cannot go. But perfect yogi can go anywhere. Prabhupada writes, one cannot become a perfect yogi simply by showing some sitting postures, nor by some sitting postures or so-called meditation one can become God, as is being advertised. Last line, Prabhupada writes, by the actions of Kardamuni, we can understand that in spite of his immense mystic power, he remained a devotee of the Lord. That is the real position of every living entity. Because many times when powers come, people get deviated and distracted by the power. That's why these are distractions. Bhakti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashant. So a devotee is not distracted by all these mystic powers. So now 44 to 48, Kardamuni and Devahuti unite and they procreate. विभज्य नवधात्मानं मानवीं सुरस्तोत्सुकं
Madhavi
कामां
Shrutikaram
निरमयन् रेमे
Rama Nilamayam Rime
तवत्
Dasya Pungan Mukhan.
After commended to his heritage, he divided himself into 9 personalities, just to brief the development. 2 were eager of sex life. In that way, he enjoyed it all for many, many years, which passed just like a minute.
So Prabhupada gives the example of Shobhari Muni. He says, Shobhari, so what happened is Kardamuni expanded into 9 arts to enjoy with Devahuti. That will be described in the later. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead can expand himself in millions of forms, a yogi can also expand up to 9 forms, but not more than that. Another example is that of Shobhari Muni. He also expanded himself into 8 forms. But however powerful a yogi may be, he cannot expand himself into more than 8 or 9 forms. Lord can expand into unlimited forms. Anadi Ananta Rupam. तस्मिन् विमान उत्कृष्टां शय्यां रतिकरीं श्रिता न चा बुद्धिरतं कालं
Nata
त्यापिच्छेन
Santakalam
संगता.
Pratyapikini Sangataha.
In that aerial mansion, Vaibhav in the company of her handsome husband, situated on an excellent bed that increased sexual desires, could not realize how much time was passing.
Yeah. So 100 years passed by. Next verse describes while the couple. Yeah, read the next translation.
While the couple who eagerly longed for sexual pleasure were thus enjoying themselves by virtue of mystic powers, their 100 autumns passed like a brief span.
So when a person is enjoying something, time passes by very quickly. Doesn't even realize कि खत्म भी हो गया सब. इतना समय चला गया. And when a person is in misery, problems, it seems that time is not passing only. कब जाएगा ये समय? इतने सालों से परेशान है. But the good things, they pass by very quickly. Because mind catches hold of the sufferings more than the happiness. Today morning, Gaurang Prabhu was giving a class, Bhagavatam temple mein. He's giving an example. If you are drinking very nice amras and suddenly a pin pricks in your soul, so what will happen? The mind will immediately go towards the pin, prick the pain. It will not take an eye, aram se piyo acha hai. Mind will give up everything and focus on that pain. So mind catches hold of the pain more easily. That's how the world is designed. The world is designed to give pain, and that's how it is perfect. Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamadachyate. This world is made perfectly because it fulfills the purpose. What is the purpose of this world? To give pain. That's how Brahmaji has made this body. Which verse? ब्रह्मा जी बोलते हैं क्या शरीर बना दिया मैंने यार, दुख हो रहा है देख के. Remembers the translation? क्या था? I have created this body full of hunger, thirst, all the kapha pitta always disturbed. Shutritra dhatu virima murardhyamana shita ushna vata varsha itaracha kam agnina sakala yonishu dahyamana. सब तरह से problem, inside problem, outside problem, and subtle level problem. So the time passed by very quickly. Next verse, translation.
The powerful Muni was the knower of everyone's heart, and he could grant whatever one desired. Knowing the spiritual soul, he regarded her as half of his body. Dividing himself into 9 forms, he impregnated Devahuti with 9 discharges of semen.
So you begot 9 children at one time. Yeah, next verse, translation.
Devahuti gave birth to 9 female children, all charming in every limb and pregnant with the scent of the red lotus flower.
Same day.
Same day.
Same day, the same day.
So that's how it is. Okay. Translation. Somebody can read the purport.
Devahuti was too sexually excited and therefore she discharged more ova and 9 daughters were born. He said in the Smriti Shastra as well as in the Ayurveda that when the discharge from the male is greater, male children are begotten, but when the discharge of the female is greater, female children are begotten. It appears from the circumstances that Devahuti was more sexually excited and therefore she had 9 daughters at once. All the daughters, however, were very beautiful and their bodies were nicely formed. Each resembled a lotus flower and was pregnant like a lotus.
Krishna Chakravarti Thakur, right? Kardamuni was not so much attached. He was detached from all these things. He was a knower of the soul by his intelligence. So therefore, his desire was less. So therefore, female children were produced. Next verse, translation.
When she saw her husband about to leave home, she smiled externally, but at heart she was agitated and distressed.
Yes. Augya gave children, so he was just leaving immediately. Patimsa pravrajishyantam. So she was really disturbed. She smiled. Externally, she was just trying to make a show that, okay, I am happy that you gave me a child, but still she was very disturbed. So Prabhupada writes, the example, last few lines, the example of Kardamuni should be understood very clearly. A person whose main concern is Krishna consciousness, even if he is trapped in household life, should always be ready to leave household enticement as soon as possible. So that's how a householder and a renunciant. And householder is bhavatah parityaga. Externally, one may be doing all the activities, but bhava, the mood is mood of renunciation. And for a renunciant, it is swarupatah parityaga. External also and internal also. So that's how a devotee, householder, should be always in this consciousness. Externally, maybe doing all the responsibilities, but internally, as soon as the responsibility is over, just go back to the process of devotional service. So that is how, after doing all our day-to-day activities, as soon as we have time, our mind is idle, the mind should go back to Krishna consciousness. So that is a devotee. That is how a person whose main concern is Krishna consciousness should be ready to leave household enticement as soon as possible. And to the extent devotees advance in Krishna consciousness, to that extent, the shift will be fast, quick, from material things to spiritual things. Otherwise, it takes a long time. It becomes very difficult to make that shift. After doing all the worldly responsibilities, again, immediately shifting to spiritual things, bhakti is very difficult because the mind always keep on wandering in all those activities. Next verse, translation.
She stood and scratched the ground with her foot, which was radiant with the luster of her gem-like nails. Her head went down. She spoke in slow, charming accents, suppressing her tears.
So 49 to 57 verses, Devahuti is making a request to Kardamuni. So Prabhupada writes, when a woman scratches the ground with her feet, it is a sign that her mind is very disturbed. पुराने जमाने में ऐसा होता था, And Prabhupada quotes about gopis also. When gopis went to Krishna and Krishna said, why have you come? I didn't call you. You're not supposed to come in the middle of the night. So they also became disturbed and they also started scratching the ground. Devahuti Ruvacha Sarvam Tad Bhagavan Mahyam Upovaha Pratishrutam Athapi Me Prapannaya
तथापि न प्रपन्नाय अभयं दातुमर्हसि.
Sri Devoti said, My Lord, you have fulfilled all the promises you gave to me. Yet, because I am your surrendered soul, you should give me fearlessness too.
Yes. So that is the most important thing a superior should give to the subordinate. Fearlessness. Otherwise, all the things of the world will not last. Only this one thing, fearlessness. That is the most important thing which a superior should instill in the subordinates. Srila Prabhupada also writes, she was surrendered soul and it is responsibility of the husband to give his wife fearlessness. How one awards fearlessness? That is mentioned in 5th canto. Not by creating all the worldly facilities, taking care of all the family, all the house, all the facilities. That is not the way to create fearlessness, because all of these things will go away. Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat. Prabhupada quotes that verse. Namo chayedya samopeta mrityum. If a superior cannot give fearlessness to the subordinate, they have no right to become superiors. One must accept the responsibility to give his ward freedom from the fearful situation of material existence. Material existence is always fearful and full of anxiety. Bhayam dvitiya abhiniveshata syat ishat apetasya viparyaya asmriti. When we forget Krishna, then immediately we become fearful. Bhayam dvitiya abhinivesh. And we start thinking this is mine and this is others. Aham mameti. As soon as this aham mameti comes, fear arises. Fear of losing something what we have. Prabhupada continues. Devavati is saying, you have given me all sorts of material comforts by your yogic power. And since you are now prepared to go away, you must give me your last reward so that I may get free from this material conditional life. That is the greatest reward superior should give, to be free from this material conditional life. That is the greatest fearlessness. That's why fearlessness is the first quality which Krishna mentions in this Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter. Abhayam sattvasam shuddhi. All these divine qualities. First quality is abhaya, fearless. If a devotee is still having fear of this world, getting disturbed by small, small things, that means a devotee has not still developed faith in Krishna's protection. The fear of the material things means we have not developed faith in protection of the Lord. Otherwise, fearlessness is the first thing which comes in the life of a devotee. Shoka, moha, bhaya, apaha. Yasyam vai shruyamanayam Krishne parama purushe bhaktir utpadyate yakya shlokam. Bhaktir utpadyate pumsam. As soon as we start hearing Yasyam Vaishyoyamanayam, Krishna, about Krishna, Bhakti Utpadyate, and as soon as Bhakti arises, Shoka, Moha and Bhaya easily disappears. Brahmando Hitribhistubhyam Vamrigya Patayasamaha Kaschatsyan Me Vishokaya Vai Pravrajite Vanam.
My dear Brahman, as far as Brahmana, as far as your daughters are concerned, they will find their own suitable husbands and go away to their respective homes. But who will give me solace after your departure as a sannyasi?
Yes. So you will depart, you will become sannyasi, but who will give me fearlessness? That is the most important thing. Who will give me solace? Vishokaya, I'll be lamenting, I'll be suffering in this material existence. Who will give me Vishoka? Prabhupada writes, it is said that Father himself becomes the Son in another form. The father and son are therefore considered to be non-different. A widow who has her son is actually not a widow because she has the representative of husband. So therefore, Devavati is indirectly asking, please give me a son so that I can also be free from the fear of the material world. A householder is not expected to remain at home for all his days. After getting his sons and daughters married, a householder can retire, leaving his wife in the charge of his grown-up sons. Devahuti is indirectly asking that in his husband from home there be at least one male child to give her relief. This relief means spiritual instruction. This is very important. What relief she is asking for? She is not thinking who will take care of my body and the physical needs. She is thinking who will give me spiritual instructions. This relief means spiritual instructions because that's what Kapiladev did. He also gave spiritual instructions and he also left. And Devavati, she understood and she was living in the same palatial mansion created by Kardamuni with all the servants, but she was not at all interested in taking care of the body. So that is the last chapter, it will be described like this. So that is the fearlessness. So relief means spiritual instruction. Relief does not mean material comforts. Material comforts will end with the end of the body, but the spiritual instruction will not end. It will go with spirit soul. The wife gives her sincere service to the husband and he becomes indebted to her because one cannot accept service from his subordinate without giving him something in exchange. So that's how we have to, the superior must give something in return. Spiritual master cannot accept service from a disciple without awarding him spiritual instruction. That is the reciprocation of love and duty. So whenever somebody invites a renunciant to his home for prasad, so it is duty of the renunciant to do some kirtan and katha. At least kuch to, just 2 minutes, 5 minutes, otherwise he is indebted. So we cannot accept any service without giving something in return. That is natural. That is a reciprocation of love and duty. So Devavati is indirectly asking, please give me a child and stay at home for a few more days till the time a male child is born. So Kardamuni, he may be thinking, oh, by your clever words, do you want more material pleasure from me? He may be thinking like this. She may be thinking like this. Oh, please stay home and give me more material pleasure. So Devavati, in the next verse, she is replying this doubt of Kardamuni. एतावतालं कालेन
एतावतालं कालेन
व्यतिक्रान्तेन मे प्रभो
व्यतिक्रान्तेन मे
इन्द्रियार्थ प्रसंगेन
इन्द्रियार्थप्रसंगेन
परित्यक्ता परात्मनः.
परित्यक्त्या परात्मनः.
Until now, we have simply wasted so much of our time in self gratification, neglecting to cultivate knowledge of the Supreme.
Yes. Etavatalam, alam, etavatalam. So much of sense gratification we have done, alam, for nothing. Just time has passed by. Vyatikrantena me Prabhu, oh my Lord, you have just wasted time for nothing. Why we have wasted? Indriya artha prasangena, just to enjoy sense gratification. And disregarding para atmana, parityakta, we didn't endeavor, neglecting the knowledge of Supreme Lord. So human life is not meant to be wasted like that of animals. in sense gratificatory activities. Otherwise, with every rising and setting of the sun, the life duration is decreasing. Which verse says this? With every rising and setting of the sun, Ayur Harti vai kaun sa?
आयुर्हरित
आगे फर्स्ट लाइन की बोल रहे हैं सब लोग. उद्यम अस्तम चयन्नसौ. अच्छा अभी याद नहीं किया हम लोग. तस्यर्थे यक्षणौ नीतौ उत्तम श्लोक वार्तया. If a person is engaging in spiritual activities, serving Krishna, tasya rite. Rite means apart from this. So human life should not be wasted for sense gratification, because sense gratification is available in all the species of life. Prahlad Maharaj does the same to his friends. Tat prayaso na kartavyo sukham indriyakam daitya dehinam dehi yoginam sarvatra labhyate daivad yatha dukkham yatmatah. It's just like dukh comes automatically, sukha also will come automatically. Don't endeavor for that. It is available in all the species of life. Tat prayaso na kartavyo yatha ayu vayaparam na tatha vindate shemam mukunda charanambujam. इसके लिए प्रयास करना है to attain Mukunda Charana. Prabhupada writes, there is a need of sense gratification because of material body, but according to regulative principles. So in effect, Devavati is telling, so far we have these daughters, we have enjoyed material life. These boons have come by our grace, by your grace, but they have all been for sense gratification. Now there must be something for my spiritual advancement. Because Devavati, she is not a materialistic person. She is a daughter of Swayambhu, one of the greatest of the devotees of the Lord. She also knows all the spiritual principles. And she married Kardamuni only for this purpose. Because why otherwise? Why a princess would marry a sage living in the forest with nothing? She ultimately wanted spiritual instructions. She continues. Indriyartheshu sajjantya sangastvai me kritah ajanantya param bhavam
जानन्त्या परं साम यथा त्वस्तः भयाय मे.
Situation, I have loved you while remaining attached to the objects of the senses. Nonetheless, let the affinity I have developed for you direct me upon you.
So I have loved you, Indriyartheshu sajjanta, but I was attached to sense objects. Ajanantya, this is very important. Ajanantya, I didn't know your position. Ajanantya param bhavam tathapi astu abhayaya me. A disciple may get attached to spiritual master for some material things, but while enjoying material sense objects, a disciple should not forget the ultimate benefit which the guru can provide, which is liberation from material existence. Ajanyantya param bhavam, I forgot. Not knowing your transcendental position, I loved you for material things. Devahuti is lamenting her position. As a woman, she had to love someone. Somehow or other, she came to love Kardamuni, but without knowing of his spiritual advancement. Devahuti, Kardamuni could understand her heart. Generally, all women desire material enjoyment. They are called less intelligent because they are mostly prone to material enjoyment. All these statements, we must be aware how to understand these statements. Bhagavad Gita बहुत discussion हुआ रहेगा इसके ऊपर. First chapter में आता है वो. Women are less intelligent और उसमें प्रभुपाद लिखते हैं चाणक्य पंडित. So we'll not discuss all these things. Devavati laments because her husband had given her the best of material enjoyment, but she did not know that she was so advanced. He was so advanced in spiritual realization. And then Prabhupada writes about sadhu sangha. Lavamatra sadhu sangha can give sarva siddhi. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, people are delivered by even a moment's association with you, a great devotee. And this similar words will come in a further future also, where, okay, next is also only the same thing. Yeah, next is the same words, clarifying the association of devotees. Chakravarti Thakur writes, there are two reasons why I did not get deliverance even after many years of association. Because बोलते हैं लव मात्र साधु संग, यहाँ पर तो आपके साथ millions of many years I have spent. Why? So this is very important. Just by lava matra, in that lava matra sadhu sang, what we do, that is also very important. It is not about just staying with a sadhu, the physical proximity with a sadhu. It is about the consciousness in which we are taking association of the sadhu. What do we want? She says two things. I did wrong. That's why I didn't get delivered. I was attached to sense pleasure and I did not know your supreme position. You have great attachment and you are a great devotee of the Lord. So these are the two things a disciple should be very careful of. While getting a chance to have a most powerful spiritual master, a devotee should not get attached to sense gratification and things and the facilities which they get by the mercy of spiritual master. Always remembering what the process of bhakti can give, what the spiritual master can give. He can give Krishna. Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite para, tomar shakati ache. Chakravarti Thakur writes, since you are inclined to give up all possessiveness in an instant, give mercy to me, an offender. I am offended. I have offended you. I ask for material things from you. So please forgive me. Srila Prabhupada writes. Okay, we discuss this one more.
So, Devahuti is asking for self-realization, not asking for
Yes.
son.
She's asking for son who will enlighten her in spiritual instructions. That is the relief which she's asking for. Otherwise, if he'll go and the daughters will go, who will enlighten her? Sangoya samsrite hetu asatsu vihito dhiya saiva sadhu shukrito nisangatvaya kalpate.
Association for self-gratification is certainly the path of bondage, but the same type of association performed with a saintly person leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without bondage.
So the same words will come in further chapter also. Devahuti will tell again, Prasangam ajaram pasham atmanah kavayo vidu saeva sadhu shukrito moksha dwaram apavtam. Similar verse comes. Sangoya samsrite hetu. The cause of this samsriti is sangha. The material association causes bondage. Sangoya samsrite hetu asatsu vihitodhya. When we get attached to asat by ignorance, but if it is the nature to be attached, if we use the same attachment and get attached to devotees, saeva sadhu shukrito, the result will be nisangatvaya. The cause of liberation is the same association. Association with material things cause bondage. Association with saintly people cause liberation. Prabhupada writes, association of saintly person in any way bears the same result. Just like Parikshit Maharaj tells Shukdev Goswami, Yesham samsmaranat pumsa sadyo shuddhanti vaigraha kim punar darshana sparsha pada shauchasana divi. Just by remembering the great souls, Yesham samsmarana, smarana karne se sadyo shuddhanti. Vaigrihat, along with the home, one gets purified. Kim punar, what to speak of? Darshan, sparsha, padashaucha. Getting a chance to see, take darshan, to touch the lotus feet, to wash the lotus feet. So anything you do with devotees, it will have the same result. All right. The Lord Krishna met many kinds of living entities. Some treated him as an enemy, some treated him as an agent for sense gratification. It is said the gopis were attached to Krishna for sense gratification. Of course, this is spiritual sense gratification. Prabhupada is paraphrasing a verse here from 10th Canto. From Seventh canto. Narad Muni is telling Yudhishthira Maharaj how different devotees achieved Krishna. Gopyah kamat bhayat kamso dvaishyaschaidhyadayo nripa sambandhad vishnaya yuyam bhaktya vayam prabho. So he says, Gopya Kama, gopis achieved Krishna by lusty desires. Bhayat Kamso, Kamsa was fearful. Everywhere he is seeing Krishna only. He was eating and he was seeing Krishna in the food. He was taking darshan, his reflection. वो कृष्ण ही दिख रहे हैं. आसीना संविशा तिष्ठा भुंजाना पर्यटन महिम चिंतयानो ऋषिकेशम अपश्यत तन्मयम जगत. तन्मय हो गए. He was Krishna, completely Krishna conscious. Out of fear of Krishna. Bhayat kamso. Dvaishya Chaidyadayo Chaidyaraj means Shishupal. As envious. The first words he spoke was blasphemy of Krishna. One time Radhanath Swami Maharaj was telling, to understand the envy of Shishupal is the same as understanding the love of pure devotee for Krishna. He was so envious. To the extent Shishupal was envious of Krishna, nahi samajh sakte. How much envious one can be? We are envious for small, no? छोटा थोड़ा सा envy रहता है. उनका envy is like pure devotees love for Krishna. नहीं समझ सकते. So that's why he achieved Krishna. Dvaishyad Chaidyadayo Nripa. And then Sambandhad Vrishnaya. The Vrishnis achieved Krishna by family relation. Snehad Yuyam Pandavas, you have love for Krishna, Sneha. And then he says, and we small devotees, we also achieved Krishna by Bhakti, by sadhana Bhakti. Humbly is telling. So Prabhupada is paraphrasing here. But whether they associated with Krishna as enemies or for sense gratification out of fear or as pure devotees, they got liberation. This is a result of association with the Lord. Same thing happens with devotee also. Whether one goes to fire knowingly or unknowingly, it will burn. So whether somebody associates with the devotee for material purpose or spiritual purpose, ultimately devotee will give Krishna only and send him back. Whatever reason you have come, you will get only one thing in return, Krishna. So that is a devotee.
In last was Vaibhav served so many years, no, with the other money.
Yes.
But here says the sense enjoyment is that.
Yeah, out of humility also she's saying, but she also desired children. That was the desire. That was the desire of any wife. I want children, but ultimately she is humbly telling, I got engrossed in sense gratification, and that's what they did also. 100 years enjoying. So that is how one can get swayed away in sense gratification. So that's why she is now repenting. I wasted my time. And that's what she will tell to Kapila also. Vanchita mayaya dridham yatvam vimuktidam prapya nam mukshe bandhanat. Oh, इनको ही बोलती है, सॉरी, यहाँ पे बोलती है, कर्दम मुनि को ही बोलती है. And Kapila Dev को she says that Nirvinna nitaram bhuman asat indriya tarashana. I am disgusted with material sense gratification now. Please instruct me how to come out of this material existence. So next to all these verses are very, very, very powerful verses. 55, 56, 57. So then Kardamuni may say, well, what are you requesting? You have such wealth, enjoy those objects. और क्या चाहिए तुमको? Enjoy करो. So she says, Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na tirtha pada sevaya jivan napi mritopi sa.
Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose religious ritualistic performance cannot raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that doesn't lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing.
Yes, this is a very important verse. If your karma does not lead to dharma, if your dharma does not lead to vairagya, And if your vairagya does not lead to tirtha pad seva, it is just like living corpse. Anyone remembers any similar verse from first canto? Dharma should not be used for sense gratification. That became. I think was he famous? धर्मस्य ही आपवर्गस्य आगे अर्थायोपकल्पते. Dharma should be used for liberation, not for artha. Na arthasya dharmaikantasya kamo labhai. And if you get artha, don't use it for sense gratification. Use it for dharma only. So that's the same thing is described here. Karma should lead to dharma, and by that dharma, you should cultivate vairagya, not sense gratification. Because karma will give artha also. But if your karma is not bringing you closer to dharma, then jivan napi mritopi sa. Ultimately, if somebody is renounced, what is the use? If somebody is not serving Krishna, aradhito yadi hari tapasa tatakim, na aradhito yadi hari tapasa tatakim. अंतर बहिर्यदि हरि तपसा तथा क्यों न अंतर बहिर्यदि हरि तपसा तथा क्यों. तो तपस्या करने का जरूरत क्या है? आराधितो यदि हरि, अगर भगवान की आराधना कर रहे हैं तो तपस्या करने क्या फल है? हो गया ना तपस्या फुलफिल. और न आराधितो यदि, तो फिर क्या फायदा तपस्या करके? और अंतर, इफ यू आर सीइंग कृष्णा अंतर एंड बहि, देन तपस्या करने की क्या जरूरत? तपस्या तो उसके लिए कर रहे हैं ना. And if you're not seeing Krishna inside, then tapasya. So that is how Jivan napi mritopi sa. Devavuti's statement is that since she was attached to living with her husband for sense gratification, which does not lead to liberation from material entanglement, her life was simply a waste of time. Any work one performs that does not lead to a state of religious life is useless activity. Any other verses where it is described, if you are not using our everything in Krishna service, it is waste. पहले शुरू कैसे होता है? It is all waste of energy and labor if we are not cultivating Rati. If you are not cultivating Krishna, attachment to Krishna, it is all waste. Otherwise, tapasvino, dhanapara, yashasvino, manasvino, mantravido, sumangala, shemam na vindanti vinaya darpanam, tasmai subhadra shravase namo namah. So all our tapasya, dhan, vrata, everything we do, if we are not offering to Krishna, it is all waste. That's the ultimate purpose. Svishtasya suktasya chabuddhitattayo avichuto artha kavibhir nirupito yaduttama shlok gunani varnanam. Whatever skills, whatever assets we have, if we are expert in reciting, if we are expert in doing yajna, tapa, dan, if we are not using it to serve Krishna, it is not worth Prabhupada writes. Everyone is by nature inclined to some work, and when that work leads to religious life, and religious life leads to renunciation, and renunciation leads to bhakti, one attains perfection. That is called as yagyarthat karmano anyatra. Work which does not lead one to understanding Krishna consciousness is useless. Why she is speaking Jivanapi Mritopi Sa? She is saying, I am such corpse. I didn't use this opportunity to cultivate devotional service. I got a wonderful husband like you. I was using dharma for sense gratification, not for vairagya, and vairagya not for bhakti. Therefore, I am cheated. Saham bhagavato nunam vanchita mayaya dridham
Vanchita Yarnam Yatva
bandhana.
Namumuchita Bandhana.
Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For in spite of having attained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage. I did not seek such liberation.
Saham, Saham, I am that corpse. Saham, I am that corpse. Bhagavatanunam, I am cheated by Bhagavata Vanchita Maya. I am cheated by illusory energy of the Lord. Vanchita Maya, Dhriham, the very insurmountable illusory energy. Yat Tvam, and why I am saying this? I got your association. Vimuktidam prapya, I could have got liberation. But Namumukshe, I did not seek such liberation. So what is the use of all this? I am cheated. Getting of such wonderful guru, if somebody is not understanding that I can get liberated by serving him without any ulterior motives, it is it is that like a person who is cheated by material energy. So one devotee was telling that in ISKCON you will find best of Krishna and best of Maya, both. Everything is there. It depends on what you want to find here. It is Kalpataru. So whatever a devotee wants, one gets. All the best of the facilities one gets. One gets best of Krishna also. One can develop devotion, love of God also. So it depends on what we get, what we want. So what we are looking for. Otherwise, it is so very easy to get distracted. Even in international society, the society which is created by Prabhupada to give love of God. So it is very important to always have introspection. Institutional success and individual success, both are important. Otherwise, institutionally, somebody may grow to best of the positions. But if the focus is not love of God, and focus is how I can get more resources and how can I can sustain and maintain my position, we are cheated. Vanchita Maya Dridham. Prabhupada writes, an intelligent man should utilize good opportunity. The first opportunity is human life. Second opportunity, to take birth in a family where there is cultivation of spiritual knowledge, that is rarely obtained. And the greatest opportunity is to have association of saintly person. That is the greatest opportunity. That's why Ramanand Samvad, when Mahaprabhu asks, Dukkha madhye kon dukkha hoy guru tar, what is the greatest distress? Ramanand Rai says, Krishna bhakta viraha vina dukkha nahi dekhi par. The greatest distress is if one does not get association of devotees. And Srila Prabhupada quotes a verse which tells, Krishna is telling the four things make a person most fortunate. Mamanaradhya dukkhatam kutumba saktamanasa satsangrahito martyo vriddha seva parichyuta. These four things, if somebody has, they are most fortunate. Don't have, they are most unfortunate. Mamanaradhya, if somebody gets a chance to worship me, he's most fortunate. Anaradhya, nahi seva mil rahi hai meri, most unfortunate. Kutumba asakta, if somebody is attached to family, he's most unfortunate. If somebody understands that life is not just meant for sense gratification, but to cultivate attachment to Krishna, he's most fortunate. Satsanga rahito, if somebody is not getting association of devotees, he is most unfortunate. Vriddha seva, if somebody is not getting chance to serve the devotees, he is most unfortunate. So the greatest opportunity is to have association of saintly people. Devotee was conscious that she was the daughter of an emperor. She was sufficiently educated, and at last she got Gardamuni. Still, she did not get liberation. Srila Prabhupada writes in one of the purports in future, Devahuti, she had best of everything. She had the best father in the form of Swayambhu Manu, and she got the best devotee husband, Gardamuni, and she got Supreme Lord as her son. Srila Prabhupada write this about one another devotee. Anyone remembers that? पढ़ा है हमने first canto में? नहीं. First canto में आता है. Uttara. Prabhupada writes, she had the best of the husband, best of the son, and father, no, teacher
Teacher.
in the form of Arjun. So that's so Prabhupada writes, he continues. Actually, the illusory energy is cheating everyone. People do not know what they are doing when they worship material energy in the form of Kali. They ask, Mother, give me great riches. Give me good wife. Dhanam dehi, janam dehi, rupavati bharya dehi. But such devotees of Maya do not know that they are cheated by that goddess. Because ultimately, material achievement is actually no achievement. It is all waste. It is cheating. Okay, so that's how this chapter ends. 24th chapter, renunciation of Kardam Muni. So in this chapter, Devahuti gives birth to Kapila Dev, and according to the words of Brahmaji, Brahmaji comes and Brahmaji glorifies Kapila Dev, and then Kardam Muni gets his daughters married, and ultimately Kardam Muni leaves after praising the Lord.
Should we memorize and come? What was this conversation? Should we? And then we-
Okay,
Because last 2 times you were reminded.
okay, we can do that. So chapter 24, the renunciation of Kardam Muni. Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim
एवं
Dayalu Shalini
निर्दुहितं
Vyaritam
दयालुसर्वं
Smaranam
अहभनन्तरं स्मरन्
Recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardam replied as follows to Swayambhu Manu's praiseworthy daughter Devhuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation. Hare Krishna.
So Kardam Muni remembered what Lord Vishnu had spoken. So he started replying. What Lord had spoken? Lord had spoken in 21st chapter, 32nd verse. O great sage, then I'll take birth in your wife Devahuti as an expanded form and will write the Tattva Samhita. Krishna Chakravarti Thakur writes here. So he is remembering. Sahaham swam shukalaya twadvirye mahamune tava kshetre devahutyam pranishye tattva samhitam. I'll write Tattva Samhita. So Kapila Dev, he's remembering that because she also wants a child, and Lord also told that I'll appear. So Kardamuni is now saying, Rishiro Vacha Makhido Rajaputritham Atmanam Pratyanandite Bhagavan Garbham
भगवान् स्तोत्सर्ग
Prapasyate.
The sage said, do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead will shortly enter your womb as yours.
Yeah. So he's now encouraging, don't worry. Lord has already given me the benediction that he'll appear. So Lord will definitely appear from your womb. Bhritavratasi bhadram te tamen niyamen cha
तमेन नियमेन च
tapudravindanaischa
तपोद्रविन्दानिश्च
Ishwaram bhaja.
श्रद्धयाश्चेश्वरं भज Hare Krishna. You have undertaken
God will
Hare
bless.
Krishna. You have undertaken sacred vows. God will bless you. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control, religious observances, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity. Hare Krishna.
So Devahuti is being reminded by Kardam Muni that don't worry, you are very fortunate. Bhadram te Bhritavratasi bhadram. May God bless you. You are already blessed. So don't worry. So he is reminding that she is very fortunate. So Every time we have to be reminded, sometimes we have to be reminded of our fortune, what we have received in our Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, the nature of the mind will focus only on what we don't have. अभी तक कृष्ण प्रेम नहीं मिला है, नयनम गलदश्रु धारया नहीं हो रहा है, अभी तो खाली सो रहा हूं मैं जप करते करते. So we always see what we have not achieved, but we should always sometimes remember what we have achieved so far by the mercy of the Lord. That will keep a devotee encouraged in Krishna consciousness. So he's saying, don't worry, Lord will appear, but you have to do something. इतनी आसानी से नहीं होगा. Dhritabhratasi, please undertake sacred vows. Bhadram te, Lord will bless you. How? Dhamena, niyamena, controlling senses, observing religious performances. Tapa, dravina, dana, do tapasya, give charity of money. Shraddhaya, and give your gifts in charity, have faith in the Lord. So all these things Prabhupada writes. Somebody can purport.
In order to spiritually advance or to achieve the mercy of the Lord, one must be self-controlled in the following manner. He must be restrained in sense gratification and must follow the rules and regulations of religious principles. Without austerity and penance, and without sacrificing one's duties, one cannot achieve the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Furthermore, advised his wife, you have to actually engage in devotional service with austerity and penance, following the religious principles and living charity. Then the Supreme Lord will be pleased with you, and he will come as your son.
Yes. So in 1519 also Prabhupada speaks a similar purport. Without being self-controlled, without being disciplined, without being obedient, no one can follow the instructions of spiritual master. And without doing so, no one can go back home, back to Godhead. So tapasya is very important in spiritual life. Tapasya. Tapo divyam putraka. Prabhupada has spoken so many times on this verse. Tapo divyam. Tapasya karo. Tapasya karo. You know, Rishabdev's instructions. Tapo divyam. Without austerity and penance, one cannot achieve the mercy of the Lord. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, unlike other women, you are not without pious actions. You have strong vows. You have performed vows in your previous life. Therefore, you have strong determination now. So we see some people, some devotees, they are very determined, very strong. एकदम पत्थर की लकीर बोल दिया तो 100% हो ही गया. ये decide किया है तो they will do every day. And some devotees like, मैं कितने सालों से ट्राई कर रहा हूँ अभी तक मेरा 16 माला नहीं हो रहा है. So that is how we have understood. So the symptom, as you know, we know subtle body, our subtle body tells what we have done in the past life. Our desires, our conditionings, our determination tells how determined we were in the past, what we have done in the past, and our current body will decide our future life. The types of desires, conditionings, endeavors we do now, that will make our future life. So Prabhupada, so he's saying you have performed vows in your previous life, therefore you are determined. So therefore, no problem. Everything will be auspicious for you. Just worship the Supreme Lord. सत्वयाराधिता शुक्लो वितन्वन्मामकं यशः चेत्ता ते हृदयग्रन्थिम् औदर्यो ब्रह्म वा भावनः.
औदर्यो ब्रह्म भावनः.
The personality of Godhead being worshipped by you will spread my name and fame. She will vanquish the thought of your heart by becoming your son, teaching knowledge of God.
He's saying two benefits will happen. He'll spread my name and fame, and you will be free from bondage. Satvaya aradhito, by being worshipped by you. Shukla. Shukla means Supreme Lord. The Lord appears in Satyuga in Shukla as a Gargamuni tells to Nanda Maharaj, when he comes to give name to Krishna, that time he tells that your son, he has appeared in the previous ages. Shuklo raktas pida idanim krishnatam gataha. In Satya Yoga, he appears in Shukla. Some in Treta, he appears in Rakta. And in Kali Yuga, he'll appear in Pita. And now he has appeared in Krishnatan, the black. So his Shukla means the Supreme Lord. Ram.
It's not a red color.
Not red color, but यहाँ पे रक्त त्रेता युग में वही बोलते हैं. Ram is green. Durva grass, green like Durva. So I've not seen any reference. राम रक्त कौन है? थोड़ा सा confusion है इसमें. रक्त कौन है? त्रेता युग में कौन से लीला होता है रक्त? I don't know. शुक्ला तो हमसा अवतार है. सतयुग में हमसा अवतार है. Heta te hridaya granthim, he'll vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son. And Prabhupada by default will focus on which word here? Hridaya. So Prabhupada, by now we should know what is the mood of Prabhupada. Prabhupada does not want all the esoteric things. Hey, अपना basic में problem उसको solve करो पहले. Matter and spirit are knotted by false ego. The identification of oneself with matter, which is called Hridaya Granthi, exists for all conditioned souls. And it becomes more and more tightened when there is too much affection for sex life. So this Granthi is not one-sided. It is not one knot. अभी एक लगा है तो खोल सकते हैं. 3-4 है. Husband attached to wife, wife attached to husband. ये 2 हो गया. Husband attached to children. 3. फिर father. फिर all the brothers and sisters and daughters and sons. So multiple है. फिर उसको काटना ही पड़ता है. वो खोल नहीं सकते. भिद्यते हृदय ग्रंथि, इसलिए भिद्यते बोलते हैं. उसको खोल नहीं सकते हैं. You cannot open it. You have just cut it. छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयः. आगे क्या? भिद्यते हृदय क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एव आत्मनीश्वरे. Then we can see Krishna. And Prabhupada quotes this verse. Rishabhadev tells, Pumsa striya maithuni bhavame tattayor mitha hridaya granthi maho. Rishabhadev tells. Prabhupada paraphrases. That attraction takes the shape of knot in the heart, and by material affection becomes still more tight. For people who hanker after material possessions, society, friendship, love, this knot of affection becomes very strong. How to cut this? Only by Brahma Bhavana, only by spiritual knowledge. Anywhere Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita this? The spiritual knowledge is a sword. Anyone remembers? नहीं, हाँ वो भी है, असंग शस्त्र है, बट यहाँ पे नॉलेज इज स्वॉर्ड. यहाँ पे ब्रह्म भावन है. हृत्स्थं ज्ञानासिनात्मनः चित्त्वैनं संशयं योगम् आत्तिष्ठ उत्तिष्ठ भारत. I think 3rd chapter, one of the last verses it comes. Jnana asina. Asina means sword. The sword, with the sword of knowledge, cut this knot of ignorance. No material weapon is needed to cut this knot. It requires bona fide spiritual instructions. Maitreya Muni, he continues how Kapila appeared in the womb. Maitreya uvacha devahutyapi sandesham Gauravena prajapate
प्रजापति
samyak purusham
Samyak
सम्यक्
Shraddhaya
श्रद्धाय
Purusham
पुरुषं
ajadgurum.
Kutastam Vrajam Drum. Sri Maitre said Devahuti was fully faithful and respectful toward the direction of her husband, Kardam, who was one of the Prajapatis, or generator of human beings in the universe. O great sage, she thus began to worship the master of the universe, the supreme personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Can anyone guess without seeing the purport what Prabhupada will write in the purport? What should be the mood of the purport by reading this? She worshipped according to the instructions. So Prabhupada will focus on what?
Following the instructions of spiritual master.
Following the instructions. This is the process of spiritual realization. One has to receive instruction from bona fide spiritual master. And Kardamuni was husband and he instructed, he naturally become a spiritual master. And then Prabhupada writes, Lord Shiva also is a spiritual master of Parvati. Husband should be so enlightened that he should become the spiritual master of his wife in order to enlighten her. Samyak Shraddhaya, this is a very important word. Samyak Shraddhaya. With great faith, one should receive knowledge from spiritual masters. And with great faith, execute the performance of service. If devout disciple doesn't have faith, पता नहीं कुछ होगा कि नहीं, खाली गुरु बोल रहे हैं, ठीक है कर देते हैं, then he'll not get success, he'll not be benefited. Prabhupada quotes, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. After a few lines, one simply has to concentrate on one's worship in good faith as instructed by the spiritual masters, and one's effort will come out successfully. Three things Prabhupada writes here. Worship in good faith as instructed. सेवा करना है श्रद्धा से जैसे बोला है. So all three are important. Just hearing will not do. We have to serve also. We should have faith also. And as said, नहीं गुरु ने बोला है लेकिन थोड़ा सा उनको नहीं समझा होगा, मैं थोड़ा अपने हिसाब से करता हूँ. No, as instructed. So that then the effort will be successful. Okay. तस्यां बहुतिथे काले भगवान् मधुसूदनः
Nan Madhusudana
वीर्यमापन्नो
Karam Viryamapanno
जग्यग्निरिवदारुणी.
Jaggergi Vadarune.
After many years, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Madhusudana, the killer of the demon Madhu, having entered the human of Kardama, appeared in Vaibhav, just as fire comes from wood in a sacrifice.
Yes. So Prabhupada naturally he describes, one should not think that Lord is appearing like ordinary child. He's always spiritual. One should never think. Lord can decide how he appears. But any way he appears, he'll not be affected. He's fully independent to act any way. This, Prabhupada writes, this manifests his full independence to act in any way. And it does not mean that he is ordinary living entity forced to take birth in certain type of womb. Narsimhadev appeared from pillar. He can appear from anywhere. Then Madhusudana, Prabhupada focuses on that. He is a killer of demons and he is always kind to devotees. Kardamam. Why Kardamam is used? Because the Lord had affection. And he is in relation with Kardamuni. But we should not mistakenly understand that he was born just like ordinary living entity. Next verse, translation.
At times of his descent on earth, demigods in the form of raining clouds sounded musical instruments in the sky. The celestial musicians that delivered sang the joys of the Lord, while celestial dancing girls known as Apsaras danced in joyful ecstasy.
Next.
At the time of the Lord's appearance, the demigod flying freely in the sky showered flowers, all the directions, all the water, and everyone's mind became very satisfied.
Next.
Brahma, the first born, went along with Marichi and other saviors to the place of Kazima, which was surrounded by the river Saraswati.
Next.
Maitreya continued, O killer of the enemy, the unborn Lord Brahma, who is almost independent in acquiring knowledge, could understand that a portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in its quality of pure existence, had appeared in the womb of Devahuti, just to explain the complete state of knowledge known as Sankhya Yoga.
Recite this verse. Bhagavantam param brahma
Bhagavatam Param Brahma
sattvenamshena shatruhan
सत्त्वेनांशेन
tattva
शत्रुहन्
sankhyan vigyaptyai
तत्त्वसङ्ख्यान विज्ञाप्ते
jatam manajaswarat.
तं विद्वानजस्वराट्.
The Lord who is param brahma, who is sattvana, he is uncontaminated. Shatruhan, who is a killer of enemy of Vidura. Tattva Sankhya, he will appear to Vigyaptai. Vigyaptai means to explain Tattva Sankhya. What is this Tattva Sankhya? That is Sankhya Yoga, philosophy of 24 material elements. Jataha, he appeared, although he is unborn and independent. Srila Prabhupada in the purport describes there are two types of Kapila, Kapila. Lord Kapila, and there is imitation Kapila. So that's why Srila Prabhupada, when he wrote this book, Teachings of Lord Kapila, what was the subtitle of the book? What is the subtitle of this book? Teachings of Lord Kapila?
Son of Devahuti.
Son of Devahuti. Because there was another impostor, atheistic Kapila. So that's what Prabhupada writes. And then Prabhupada says, Brahma could understand that he is Swarat, independent. He is called Swarat because he did not go to any school or college to learn this. He learned everything from within. Brahmaji Swarat. Tene Brahma Ridaya Adi Kavaye. After worshipping the Lord with gladdened senses and a pure heart, Brahma spoke as follows. Translation. Okay, मैंने translation पढ़ लिया. 11th verse I read the translation. Brahma Uvacha Maya me apachitistata Kalpita nirvyalikataha
कल्पिता निर्वलीकतः
Janme sanjagrahe vakyam
यन्मे सज्जगृहे वाक्यम्
Bhavan manadam manayan.
भवान् मानदमानयन्. Lord
Lord
Brahma
Brahma
said,
said, My dear son Kardama, since you have completely accepted my instructions without duplicity, showing them proper respect, you have worshipped me properly. Whatever instructions you took from me, you have carried out, and thereby you have honored me.
Yeah, so Brahma is very pleased because he is doing everything because Brahmaji told. Otherwise, he was a liberated. Kardamani was already a liberated sage. So he is very happy. Toya me apachiti, you have worshipped me. You have followed my instructions properly. Kalpita nirvyalika, without duplicity. This is this word comes from it. Nirvyalika. और कहीं आता है निर्वेदिक.
I mean,
Many times I have
याद नहीं आ रहा है.
When one correctness, basically when Manu asked what should he do in the this Brahma,
हाँ, वहाँ पे
he thought that
निर्वेलिक.
again,
Yeah, many times it comes. If you डालेंगे तो बहुत सारा आ जाएगा उसमें. निर्वेलिक, without duplicity.
Question is also the Nirvya.
Nirvilika is there.
अच्छा, okay. अच्छा जो उसमें कौन सा चैप्टर?
Killing of the Nirvya.
हाँ, should be a निर्वेलिक, yes. Without duplicity, you have carried my instruction. Sanjagrahe, you have completely accepted and you have executed also. So therefore, O Manada Manayan. Manada means one who offers honor to others. Prabhupada writes, Brahma is the first living entity. He is also the father of everyone. Kardamuni is one of the Prajapati, and son of Brahma. Therefore, Brahma is praising that he is carrying out the order in toto, without cheating. He says, a conditioned soul has 4 disqualifications. What are the 4 disqualifications of conditioned soul? 4 imperfections. संस्कृत में नहीं, बंगाली शब्द. अरे भ्रम प्रमाद करना पाटा विप्रलिप्सा,
से याद नहीं किया।
ये तो बहुत कॉमन है। भ्रम भ्रम प्रमाद करना पाटा विप्रलिप्सा, karna pata and vipralipsa. So these are the four imperfections. Vipralipsa means cheating. Karna pata means imperfect senses. Bhram means to get illusion. Pramad means to make mistakes. I think एक दो थोड़ा देख के बता दें. But if one carries out the order of spiritual master by disciplic succession, he overcomes the four defects. That's why Srila Prabhupada would always say, I may be having imperfect senses. I am imperfect, but the knowledge which I am giving is perfect. So that is my credit. I am not adding anything, I am not subtracting anything. So one time around, South Indian scholar came and told, South Indian person came and said, Swamiji, I have read your Bhagavad Gita. It is like Ramanujacharya's Bhagavad Gita only. So he was actually insulting. Hey, आपने copy कर दिया उनका. Prabhupada said, thank you very much. That is my credit. That shows I am in parampara. I am not adding anything. So that is a acharya. He never adds or subtracts. He just repeats as it is and adds his own realizations, which is also in line with the parampara, not any extra. That is called as realization. कहाँ पे आता है realization का definition? 141. एक purport तो याद रखना चाहिए. 141. What is realization? Realization means not surpassing the previous acharyas, but repeating as presenting the knowledge according to time, place, and circumstance, while keeping the message intact. Yes, I'm just paraphrasing it. Next verse continues. And then after telling that आपने अच्छे से किया है, फिर बोलते हैं सबको ऐसा ही करना चाहिए. That's how everybody should serve the Father. You know, एतावती एव शुश्रूषा कार्यापितरि पुत्रकैः बाणमित्यनुमन्येत गौरवेण गुरोर्वचः.
गौरवेण गुरुरोर्वचः.
कुछ भी बोले गुरु यस सर बोलना है, कभी भी ना नहीं बोलना. Yes, read.
One ought to render service to their father exactly to this extent. One should obey the command of his father or spiritual master with due deference, saying, Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. हो जाएगा. Thy will be done. Prabhupada writes, two words are important, Pitari and Guru. Son or disciple should accept the words of spiritual master or father without hesitation. In one purport, Prabhupada writes, in one condition one can refuse to follow the instructions of Guru. Anyone remembers?
It's not according to Shastra.
नहीं. हाँ वो तो है ही, बट गुरु अच्छा ही बोल रहे हैं, फिर भी एक कंडीशन में ना बोल सकते. उसमें आता है when four Kumaras they refuse to marry. ये कंडीशन में ना बोल सकते, नहीं करना है. Whatever the father and spiritual master orders should be taken without argument. Yes, there should be no instance in which the guru or disciple or son says, this is not correct, I cannot carry out. When he says that he is fallen, it is not that afterwards he becomes fallen. बोला तो उधर ही पतन हो गया उसका. नहीं करूंगा बोला मतलब हो गया. The father and spiritual master are on the same platform because spiritual master is a second father. First birth from biological father, second from spiritual father, from guru. In any case, the order of father and order of spiritual master must be carried out without hesitation, with an immediate yes. There should be no argument. That is a real service to father or guru. Of course, when the father is a devotee, then he is speaking according to the disciplic succession. Otherwise, पापा बोलेंगे आजकल पापा और बेटा साथ में बैठ के पी रहे हैं तो उन्हें अरे पापा ने बोला है. I'm following this. No, it is not like that. When the father is following the instructions according to the scriptures, if a disciple follows the instructions of spiritual master in that way, he is sure to become perfect. Prabhupada quotes a verse from Upanishad. ये बहुत ही famous verse Prabhupada is paraphrasing here. All the imports of Vedic scriptures are revealed only to have one. कैसे शुरू होता है वो? One who has implicit faith in the words of Guru and Supreme Lord. Anyone can find out? Prakashante Mahatmana डालेंगे तो आ जाएगा. Very famous. Prabhupada has quoted many times. That's how one should follow without any doubt. Should have faith in Mahatmana.
Self-on बिल्कुल.
नहीं वो purport में होगा. मिला? यस्य देवे पराभक्ति यथा देवे तथा गुरौ तस्यैते कथितः अर्थ प्रकाशन्ते महात्मनः. So that is how one should have that faith. Parabhakti. Yatha deve tatha guru. In the faith, words of the Lord and the words of Guru. Tasyaite katstahi artha. And when one follows the words of Guru and Lord like this, prakashante, the import of the Vedas will be revealed. नहीं तो मतलब नहीं समझता है. So by following, the words will become realization. That's what Maitreya Muni, Vidurji tells to Maitreya Muni. Oh Maitreya Muni, you have so mercifully given me all these instructions, but all these knowledge will become realization by serving. Yat sevaya bhagavata kutasthasya madhudusha ratiraso bhavetti prapadayor vyasanardana. By serving, the instructions become realizations. By having faith and serving, the knowledge will become realization. One may be materially an illiterate man, but if he has faith in the Lord, then the meaning of scriptures are immediately manifested. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Koryaikya Arana Korihomanyasha. Next verse, translation.
Lord Brahma then praised Kardama Muni's 9 daughters, saying, all your 3 blessed daughters are certainly very chaste. I am sure they will increase this creation by their own descendants in various ways.
So he's saying, don't worry about your daughters. They'll become very chaste, beautiful. They'll increase the population. And then next verse, also translation.
Therefore, today, please give away your daughters to the foremost of the sages with due regard for the girls' temperaments and likings, and thereby spread your fame all over the universe.
So he's saying, please marry your daughters to my sons, all these great sages. Yatha Shila. Yatha Shilam, Yatha Ruchi. According to their temperament and likings. ऐसा किसी से भी मत करिए. According to their likings and temperament. जिससे वो शादी करना चाहते हैं उनसे ही करवाइए. The daughter should be handed over to respective rishis not blindly, but according to the combination of character and taste. This is the art of combining a man and women. मतलब कुंडली मिला के करिएगा. Prabhupada writes about that. The parents used to astrologically determine the character and tastes of the boy and girl. उसमें वो क्या मिला? कितना 36 गुण रहते हैं ना? कितने होते हैं? 36. 36 रहते हैं. वो 36 का आंकड़ा क्यों बोलते हैं? वो 36 उसमें आता है. So 36 qualities are matched according to the taste and the character. So कितने minimum मिलने चाहिए उसमें?
23, 24.
अच्छा
हमारा इसमें 10 में 500 होते हैं।
ऐसा ठीक कंसेशन
बहुत कम लोग मानते हैं।
Perfectly.
23, 24.
10 में 500।
So that's how that is very important. Prabhupada writes always about marriage में astrology refer कर सकते हैं और horoscope और मैं किसी में मैं नहीं प्रभुपाद बोलते हैं मैरिज के लिए एस्ट्रोलॉजी
But now horoscope is also very important because now they are doing elective section based on that pandit will give a time and then we do elective.
उससे क्या होता है आप तो वही फील्ड वाले हैं तो आपको मालूम है
Time of birth should be correct, time and date. Then
The
will
rings are wrong and then there.
हाँ, then थोड़ा भी
तो डिवोटी बेस है राधाष्टमी है प्रभु जी राधाष्टमी को तो वही तो so yeah that is अभी क्या everything is hodgepodge now we cannot rely on anything
And
केवल
even
भक्ति अभी है बचा है
also the astrologers will be very good.
that is also there correct Prabhupada writes, according to astrological calculation, a person is classified according to whether he belongs to a demoniac or a godly quality. In that way, a spouse was selected. Cha. The boy of godly quality should be handed over to a girl of godly quality. Cha. A girl of demoniac quality should be handed over. Then they'll be happy. Sama shil, yatha ruchi, yatha shilam. नहीं तो राक्षस और देव वाले को शादी करेंगे तो प्रॉपर राइट्स
Only two here. From 33 to 22.
नहीं उसमें ऐसा कुछ रहेगा ना उसमें ओवरऑल क्लासिफिकेशन रहेगा ना 32 में 36 में नहीं वो तो अलग है अच्छा उसी के ऊपर डिसाइड होता है क्या देवगण राक्षसगण मनुष्यगण ओह अच्छा
ग्रह भी देखते हैं ग्रह मैत्री
Right.
At the present moment, because the boys and girls are not married according to quality and character, most marriages are unhappy and there is divorce. And then Prabhupada writes what will happen in the Kali Yuga. People will marry only for sex life. Vayam grihamev. As soon as the sex life is there, they'll stay together, otherwise they'll stay separate. That is not marriage, that is combination of men and women like cats and dogs, Prabhupada writes. Vedahamadyam purusham avatirnam samahita bhutanam deham
Bhutanam Shivam Deham
kapilam te
Dibhyam Kapilam Bhati.
Also, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead has now appeared as an incarnation by his internal energy. He is the bestower of all desires by the living entity, and he has now assumed the body of Sapudamuni.
So he is now telling Vedaham, I know. Adya Purusha has appeared. The supreme original personality is Avatirna. He has appeared, descended by Swamayaya. So nobody is pushing him, nobody is forcing him. Swamayaya. Krishna also tells in the 4th chapter, what is the difference between you and me? Anyone remembers? Arjun पूछता है अरे आप बोल रहे हैं तो आपने इनको सुनाया है you and me are of same age. बहुनी में व्यतीतानि जन्मानि तव च अर्जुना दान्यम वे सर्वाणि उससे बोलते हैं अजोपि सन अव्ययात्मा भूतानाम ईश्वरोपि सन आत्ममाया मैं अपनी इच्छा से आ रहा हूँ स्वमाया nobody is forcing me that is a difference living entities are pushed they are forced by material nature but Lord is not forced by material nature he is free bhutanam shevadhim he is the bestower of all desires तो उनको कौन देगा Huh? This is Brahmaji telling to Kardam Muni. Brahmaji appeared. As soon as Kapila Dev appeared in the womb of Devahuti, Brahmaji came and he is telling all these things. Glorified Kardam Muni, glorified Devahuti, and then he is predicting kaun aa gaya hai. So Prabhupada focuses on this word Swamayaya. Then Shevadhim. Shevadhi means he is the original bestower of all the necessities of life upon the living entities. So Lord, he facilitates all the desires of everyone. That's why he's called a Shevadhi. And then what he'll do, what this Kapila Dev will do, he's describing the activities and the bodily features of Kapila Dev in 17th verse. Jnana Vijnana Yogena Karmana Muddharanjataha Hiranyakesha Padmaksha Padma Mudra Padambujaha.
By mystic yoga
By
and the
which
applications of knowledge from the scriptures, Kapila Muni, who is characterized by his golden hair, his eyes just like lotus petals, his lotus feet, which bear the marks of lotus flowers, will approve the deep-rooted desire for work in this material.
So you have seen the famous painting of Kapila Dev, no? बहुत अच्छा ISKCON का famous painting है जिसमें golden hair Kapila Dev है. Jnana Vijnana Yogena, by mystic yoga and by practical application of knowledge, that is Vijnana. Karmanam Uddharan, he'll uproot the deep-rooted desires for work in this material world. Uproot, Uddharan Jata. And then the two lines describe, first two lines describe the work, next two lines describe the features. Hiranyakesha, he'll have golden hair. Padmaksha, lotus-eyed Lord. Padma Mudra, he'll bear the marks of lotus flowers. And Padambuja, he'll have lotus feet, lotus eyes, lotus face. Prabhupada writes. अब इसमें कहाँ फोकस करेंगे प्रभुपाद? Natural. He focuses on karmanam uddharan jata. How people are absorbed in this material world, working very hard. So he uproots the desire for work. People are working hard. Prabhupada always travels like donkey. Prabhupada अच्छा एकदम glorify करते हैं donkeys को. Prabhupada tells people they work hard so much, morning to evening. They are working like donkeys. What's up with animals? Prabhupada writes, the activities of Kapila Muni are forecast herein. He will present Sankhya philosophy. He'll approve the deep desire for material fruitive activities. A man who tries to be happy by achieving fruits of his own honest labor, but actually becomes more and more entangled. The more one works, the more one gets entangled, just like a small insect being trapped in the spider web. The more he thinks I'll move and I'll get free, but क्या होता है? और उसमें उलझ जाता है. So the more a living entity thinks I'll work hard and I'll be successful, I'll come out of the problems. But every action in this world creates another problem. That's what Prahlad Maharaj tells. Dukkha oshadam tadapi dukkhamatadhiyaham bhuman bhramami vadame tavadasya yogam yasmat priya priya viyoga samyoga janma shokagnina sakalayonishu dahyamana dukkha oshadam. In this world, people are just doing what? Priya, ye mera priya, ye apriya, sanyog, viyog. That's what going on. They're trying to solve a problem, but the solution creates a bigger problem. Dukkha oshadam tadapi dukkham. More and more entangled. One cannot come out of this entanglement unless one practices bhakti. So only by this jnana, Prabhupada writes, jnana does not refer to ordinary research work. What is knowledge according to Bhagavad Gita? Where Krishna tells this is knowledge? 8 to 11. In 4 verses, Krishna tells what is knowledge. Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, all that series. And the last it says, Etad Jnanam iti proktam Ajnanam yadato anyatha. All the knowledge of this world is not knowledge, it is craftsmanship. People are becoming expert craftsmen. All the engineering and all the things which people are doing, वो craftsmanship है, knowledge नहीं है. Knowledge means how to come out of this material. Knowledge means 3 things, Prabhupada writes. Yeah, knowledge means, what is the definition of knowledge? Famous definition of knowledge, Prabhupada tells. Knowledge means to know matter, spirit, and controller of both. That is knowledge. Gyan does not refer to ordinary research work. Gyan entails receiving knowledge from scriptures through the spiritual master by disciplic succession. In the modern age, there is a tendency to do research, but the man who speculates forgets that he himself is subject to 4 defects. Just like वो वर्नियर कैलिपर होता है ना, उसको कैलिब्रेट करना पड़ता है. नहीं करेंगे तो कितना भी कर लो एक्सपेरिमेंट, result will be error, mistake. All our senses have an inborn calibration error. कितना भी कर लो रिजल्ट कैसे आएगा? एषमानवीते गर्भं प्रविष्टा कैटभार्दनः अविद्या संशय ग्रन्थिं छित्त्वा गां विचरिष्यति.
Yogam Vicharishyati.
Hare Krishna. Lord Brahma then told Devavati, my dear daughter of Manu, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead who killed the demon Kaitaba is now within your womb. He will cut off all the knots of your ignorance and doubt. Then he will travel all over the world. Hare Krishna.
Everybody is assuring, Kardamuni assured, don't worry, your knots will be cut, your son will appear, who is Supreme Lord. Brahma is also telling the same thing. Esha Manavi, my dear daughter of Manu, Esha, this son who is there in your womb, Garbha, Pravishta, Avidya Sanshaya Granthim Chitwa. He is a Supreme Lord. He will cut off all the Sanshaya Granthim. एक तो पहले कौन सा था? हृदय ग्रंथि. यहाँ पे क्या? संशय ग्रंथि. So Prabhupada focus on it. The knot of doubtfulness is tied when the soul identifies with the material world and starts doubting. How can I believe in Supreme Lord? I will believe in my own endeavors. I will not believe in anything given by the Supreme. That's how the knot of doubtfulness is tied when the soul identifies with material world. He starts doubting everything about Krishna. And Prabhupada always tells, for a doubting soul, there is, Krishna says, na? 4.40. Agyasya ashraddhanascha sanshayatma vinashyati. Ignorant, faithless, and doubting soul. Vinashyati. Nayam lokasti naparo. He will not get happiness in this life nor in the next life. Nasukam samshayatma. Samshayatma. The Atma में ही संशय है. He is made of संशय. हर चीज में संशय होगा. पता नहीं ये सही होगा कि नहीं. Chanting करने से मिलेगा कि नहीं भगवान. So all these things, agya. Agya means those who are ignorant. उसको मालूम नहीं है कि भक्ति से क्या होता है. चलो उसका कुछ हो सकता है. अश्रद्धाना, he can also be given faith. But Sanshayatma, he has no scope. He will doubt everything. Even after coming to bhakti, he will doubt. पता नहीं मिलेंगे कि नहीं, पता नहीं सही दे रहे हैं कि नहीं. That is the worst. Of all these 3, Sanshayatma is worst. So Prabhupada focuses on that also. Just become Krishna conscious, just worship Krishna and become a devotee of Krishna. That is real knowledge. So then, 19th verse, we'll stop here. 19th, there is another glorification of Kapiladev. Ayam siddhaganadhishaha
Gadashah Dayascha सुसंमितः लोके कपिलः स्वः
गन्ता ते कीर्तिवर्धनः
गन्ता ते कीर्तिवर्धनः.
Your son will be head of all the perfected souls. He will be approved by the acharyas, expert in disseminating real knowledge, and among the people he will be celebrated by the name Kapila. As the son of Devaki, he will increase your.
This personality is Siddhgana. He is most perfect. He is the head of all perfected souls, Siddhgana. Sankhyacharya. Susammata. He will be approved by acharyas who are expert in disseminating real knowledge. So that is the feature of the Supreme Lord. Even if Supreme Lord makes a statement, he will tell, "पहले लोगों ने बोला है." So, Lord tells also in Bhagavad Gita few times this. उसमें बोलते हैं कि all this knowledge, it comes in, I think, 18th chapter in the beginning. Yes, previous sages have told this. Rishibhir bahuda geetam chando bhi vividhai prathak. Rishis have told this. So, what is the need for Supreme Lord to be approved by acharyas? But it is to establish the parampara. ये अपने आप नहीं बोल रहे हैं. That's why Narad Muni also told Vyasdev, you know everything, and I am just speaking something. Pradesh matram bhavata pradarshitam. आपको सैंपल के लिए बोल रहा हूँ ताकि कोई बोले ना कि ये व्यासदेव ने तो गुरु बनाया नहीं. Why should I make a guru? Sankhyaacharya, therefore he'll be known as Kapila. And what he'll do? Kirti Vardhan, he'll increase your fame. Okay, so we'll stop here. Continue next time from 20th verse. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai.